next topic is groundwater resources. Groundwater resources, as the name suggests, is the groundwater found under the soil. This water falls as the rain falls on the snow melt, either lost as surface runoff, and some amount also percolate through the soil under the influence of gravity and get collected in the soil pores spaces due to the presence of underlying above the in previous layer. Okay, so surface water in the groundwater. Water and water vapors are in the constant circulations powered by the energy from the sunlight and gravity as a natural process called hydrological cycle, about which we had already learned in our school. Water vapors from the oceans and the land surface, it held temporary as a water vapors in the atmosphere and fall back on the earth surface as called precipitation. Okay, sources of all fresh water on the earth is rainfall. When rainfall occurs, part of it flow on the surface of the land as runoff, and the runoff water ultimately gets into the water body like stream, river, pond or lake. This water is called surface water. And the part of precipitations below the ground surface into the soil zone. When the soil becomes saturated under the percolate downward, a zone of saturated occur where all the soil pores are filled with the water. Part of rainwater slowly infiltrate into the soil under the pull of gravity. Thus, an underground water body is called aquifer, and that accumulated water is called groundwater. Under the pull of gravity, groundwater flows slowly and steadily through the soil. In the low areas, it emerges in the spring and the stream. So, this is the hydrologic cycle, deceptive surface water, groundwater and the water table. Both surface water and groundwater eventually return to the ocean where evaporation replenishing the supply of atmospheric water vapors. Wind carry out the moist or moisture air over land and the precipitations occur and the hydrologic cycle continues. The process of precipitations replenishing the groundwater supply, it is also known as the recharge, or we can say that the recharge occurs only during the rainy season is in tropical climate or during spring in the temperate climate. Typically 10 to 20% of the precipitations that fall on the earth percolates through the soil and contribute the water bearing strata, means aquifer. Groundwater is consistently in motion compared to the surface water. It moves very slowly. The actual rate depends on the transmissibility of the storage capacity of the aquifer. Sometimes outflow of the groundwater take place through spring and the river beds. The renewal time of groundwater near the water table may be a year or less, while in the deep aquifer it may be as long as thousands of years. So water table is also called the groundwater table. Is the upper level of the underground surface in which the soil or the rock are permanently saturated with the water. The depth at which the pore surface of the soil is completely filled with water and the level at which this occur is called the water table. The water table separates the groundwater zone that lies below it from the fringe, from the capillary fringe, or the zone of aeration that lies above it. The water table fluctuates both with the season and from the year of year because of it affected by the rainfall and the climate variation. It also affected by the quantum withdrawals from well or by the artificial recharging. So this is the table of the water table. Groundwater is uses for domestic purpose, livestock and the irrigation since a very long. In India, a very large of percentage of populations depend on the groundwater for the domestic need. So the major difference between surface water and the groundwater is surface water is the water which remain on the surface of the land in the form of stream, river, pond or lake. Whereas the groundwater is the water which is normally found under the ground and is obtained by digging well, tube well and hand pumps. Okay. Surface water is exposed and can be easily contaminated, whereas the groundwater is underground, hidden and thus cannot be easily contaminated. Surface water often needs to be transported to place to use and it is expensive, and groundwater is often available at the place of their use and need not to be transported and it is cheaper. Surface water cannot be directly consumed as it is contaminated, and groundwater is mostly uncontaminated and it can be directly consumed. Surface water is exposed and subject to evaporation loss and thus less dependable on the time of the drop, whereas the groundwater is underground and does not get lost due to the evaporation, is thus most dependable on the time of the drop. Now groundwater sources. So the value of an aquifer as a source of groundwater depend on the porosity of the geological layer in which it is formed. Water is withdrawn from the aquifer by pumping it or out of a well or infiltration gallery. An infiltration gallery typically includes several horizontal pipes radiating outward from the bottom of a large diameter vertical shaft. Well, all the constructed in the several ways depending on the depth and nature of the aquifer. Well, used for the public water supply, usually more than 100 feet deep and from 4 to 12 inches in the diameter, and must penetrates large aquifer that can provide dependable yields of good water quality. A submersible pump driven by an electric motor can be used to raise the water to the surface, The method of groundwater extraction, first one is spring. The water table generally follow the topography of the surface ground, and the slope in the water table profile result in subsoil flow. Groundwater movement is comparatively very slow as compared to surface water. The flow depends on the slope and permeability. When the water table is above the surface, water level in some hilly areas or groundwater flow out as a spring. The spring water can easily used as a source of drinking. The oldest water supply to towns as in Rome, Lyon, where from the such sources, a majority of our hilly populations depend on such source in the Himalayas region. That next one is dug well. It cover ordinary open well of varying dimensions dug or chunked from the ground surface into the water bearing to the extract water for the irrigation purpose. These are broadly masonry wells, or we can say that kacha well and dug compore well. All such schemes are of private nature belonging to the individual cultivator. Next is shallow tube well. It consists of a borehole built into the ground with the purpose of tapping groundwater to the porous zone. The depth of a shallow tube well does not exceed 60 to 70 meter. The tube well are generally operated from 6 to 8 hours during the irrigation season and give yield to 10 to 30 millis per day, which is roughly 2 to 3 times that of the dug well. Next is tube well. It is usually extended to the depth of 100 meter and more, and it is designated to give a discharge of 100 to 200 cubic. So these tube well operate during the clock during the irrigation season, depending upon the availability of the power. Their manual output is roughly 15 minutes that of an average shallow tube well. Hand pump. Hand pump are commonly used as a draw groundwater in village and slum urban in the area center. These are manually operated, thus no electricity or other power is required to operate them, to operate the hand pump. Economic use of water. Economic use of water. Economic use of water have a major environmental, public health and the economic benefit by helping to improve the water quality, maintain aquatic ecosystem, protect drinking water resources, and by using water more efficiently and by purchasing more water efficient product. We can also help mitigate the effect of drought. Efficiency measure can also save money on water and the energy bill. So if we talking about the water usage in bathroom, to save the water, do not let the water run while shaving or brushing teeth. Use mug while shaving or brushing teeth. Take short shower instead of tub bath. Turn off the water while soaping or shampooing. If you must use a tub, close the drain before turning on the water and fill the tub only half full. Bath small children together. Never use your toilet as a waste basket. So this is the points which we can consider to save water at the home. Now kitchen and laundry. In kitchen and laundry, simple practices save a lot of water. In that, store drinking water in the refrigerator, wash fruits and vegetable in the basin, use the vegetable brush. Do not use the water to defrost frozen foods. Then ahead of use, scrap rather than reuse dishwashers before loading into the dishwasher. Add food waste to your composite piles instead of using the garbage disposable. Wash only food loads of laundry or use the appropriate water level or load size selections on the washing machine. Okay. In home with high efficiency plumbing fixtures and appliances, save about 30% of indoor water use and yield substantial saving on the water, sewer and the energy bill. And in gardening and landscaping, depending on the climate, up to 20% of the home total water use during the growing season is for the outdoor purpose. So at that time, detect and repair all leakage in the irrigation system. Use properly treated wastewater for irrigation wherever available. Water the lawn or garden during the coolest part of the day. Early morning is the best time. Do not water on the windy day. Water trees and shrubs which have deep root system for a longer time and less frequently than shallow rooted plants that frequently require small amount of water. Check with the local extension services for advice on watering need to your area. After that, set sprinkling the water, the lawn or the garden only, not the street or sidewalk. Use the soaker hoses or trickle irrigation system for trees and shrubs. Install moisture sensors on sprinkle systems. Use the mulches around shrubs and plants gardens to reduce the evaporations from the soil surface and to cut down on the weed growth. Minimize or ultimate fertilizing which promote new growth needing additional watering. Do not use water that contain bleach, automatic dishwashing detergents or fabric smoothener for irrigations. And if you are talking about equipment, then install low flow shower heads, considering purchasing a high efficiency washing machine which can save over 50% of laundering water and save energy. Repair all leaks, and leaky toilets can waste about 1000 liters per day. So to detect leakage in the water, add food colors to the tank water. If the colored water appears in the wall, the toilet is leaking. Now the outdoor uses. In that, sweep driveways, sidewalks and step rather than using the hose pipe to wash them. Wash the car in water from the bucket, or considering use of the commercial car wash that recycle the water. When using a hose, control the flow with an automatic shut-off nozzle, and avoid purchasing recreational water toys which require a constant stream of water. Consider purchasing a new water saving swimming pool filter. Use a pool cover to reduce evaporations when pool is not being used. Do not install or use ornamental water features unless they recycle the water. And use the sign to show the public that water is recycled. Do not operate during the drought. So artificial discharge. Next point is artificial discharge. The increasing demand of water has increased awareness toward the use of artificial discharge to augment the groundwater supply. And stated simply, artificial discharge is a process by which the excess surface water is directed into the groundwater, either by the spreading on the surface by using recharge well, or by altering natural conditions to increase the infiltrations. In other words, we can say that to replenish the aquifer, recharge refers to the movement of water through man-made system from the surface of the earth to underground water bearing where it may be stored for the future use. So artificial discharge, sometimes it is called the planned discharge, is a way to store water underground in times of water surplus to meet the demand in the time of shortage. So direct artificial discharge, first one is spreading basins. This method involves surface spreading of water in basins which are aquated in the existing territory. For effective artificial discharge, highly permeable soil are suitable, and the maintenance of the layer of the water over the highly permeable soil is necessary. Now, the recharge pit and the shaft. Conditions that permit surface spreads method for artificial discharge are relatively rare. Often, area of low permeability lies between the land surface and the water table. In such situation, artificial recharge systems such as pit and shaft could be effective. Unfiltered runoff waters leave a thin film of sediment on the side and bottom of the pit, which require maintenance in order to sustain the high recharge rates. Shaft may be circular, rectangular form, or square cross sections, and may be backfilled in porous material. After that, the actuations of making pits and shaft may be terminated above the water table level, and may be the connector extended below the water table. Recharge rates in both shaft and pit may decrease with time due to the accumulations of fine grained materials and the plugging effect brought by the microbial activity. Now, next is ditches. A ditch could be described as a long, narrow trench with the bottom width less than its depth. A ditch system can be designed to suit the topographic and geological conditions that exist a given site. A lay of a ditch and the flooding recharge project could include a series of ditch trending down the topography slope. The ditch could terminate in a collection ditch designed to carry away the water that does not infiltrate, and this would reduce the accumulation of fine material. Next one is recharge well. Recharge or injection well are used to directly recharge water into deep water bearing zone. Recharge wells are suitable only in the area where a thick impervious layer exists between the surface of the soil and the aquifer to be replenishment. There are also advantages for the land, or we can say that where the land is scarce. A relative high rate of recharge can be attained by this. Now the indirect method of recharging. First one is enhanced streamline infiltration. The method of induced recharge consists of setting a gallery or a line of well parallel to the bank of river and a short distance from it. Without the well, there would be a outflow of the groundwater to the river. When a small amount of groundwater are withdrawn from the gallery parallel to the river, the amount of groundwater discharged into the river and the water recovered by the gallery consists of the whole in nature groundwater. Each groundwater withdrawal is accomplished by the downdrawn in the water table, and for high recovery rates the downdrawn tend to be lower the groundwater table at the shoreline below that at the river. So the surface water from the river will be induced to enter the aquifer and to flow into the gallery. In areas where the stream is separated from the aquifer by the material of low permeability, leakage from the stream may be so small that the system may not be feasible. Next one is conjunctive wells. In conjunctive wells is one of or we can say that one that is screened in both a shallow confined aquifer and a deeper Austrian aquifer, where a pump from the deeper aquifer and used surface is lowered below the shallow water table, and the water from the shallow aquifer drained directly into the deeper aquifer. Water by the conjunctive well has the advantages of utilizing sediment free groundwater, which greatly reduce the damage of the clogging well screens. Now come to the point, the advantages of artificial recharge. While recharging rain and surface water infiltrate the soil and percolate down through the various geological formation and get naturally cleansed. A very few tools are needed to dig the drainage well. In rock formation with the high structural integrity, few additional material may require. In that concrete, soft stone or rock block, metal roads to construct the well. Groundwater recharge store water during the wet season for the use in the dry season when the demand is highest. Aquifer water can be improved by recharging with the high quality injection water, and recharge can be significantly increase the sustainable yield of the aquifer. So recharge methods are attractive particularly in the arid region. Most aquifer recharge systems are not, or we can say that, easy to operate. In many river basin, control of surface water runoff to provide the aquifer recharge reduce the sedimental problem. Reduce with less saline surface water or treated effluent improve the quality of the saline aquifer, facility to the use of water for the agriculture and the livestock. Now the disadvantages of artificial recharge. Artificial recharge has some disadvantages too. In the absence of financial incentives, laws or the other regulations to encourage land owner to maintain the drainage well advocated. The well may fall into disrepair or disrepair and ultimately become the source of groundwater containment. There is a potential for the containment of the groundwater for the injected surface water runoff, especially from agriculture field and the road surface, unless the surface water runoff is not pre-treated before the injection. Unless significant volume of injection into a aquifer, groundwater recharge may not be economically feasible. The hydrological or the hydrology of an aquifer should be investigated and understood before any future full-scale recharge project is implemented. Yes, groundwater. Groundwater, we had already discussed that groundwater play an important role in India, particularly as a drinking water source. Groundwater has a number of unique features that rendered in a particular suitable as a water supply source. So the unique feature of groundwater are generally uncontaminated and thus can be consumed directly without any treatment. It can be available in a close proximity to place where it is required as it widely disturbed or distributed. It is dependable and relatively less affected by the drought. Large storage, treatment and distributions can be avoided and it is less expensive. For the reason mentioned here, nearly 85% of the India's population today is depend on the groundwater for the domestic demand. Groundwater is particularly important as a source of drinking water in the rural area. Groundwater also play an important role in the agriculture, both irrigations and the for bathing the cattle. So industrial demand of groundwater is also high, as many prefer to use groundwater for the unique feature mentioned above. Groundwater quality is being increased or threatened by agriculture, urban and industrial wastes and which leach or the injected into the underlying aquifer. Once pollution has entered the subsurface environment, it may be remain concealed for many years and become dispersed over the void areas, rendering groundwater supplies unsuitable for the human beings. So reason for declining the groundwater quality, in that a vast majority of groundwater quality problems are caused by contaminated over exploitation or combination of the two. Most groundwater quality problems are difficult to detect as they may be concealed below the surface. They are also hard to resolve. The solutions are usually very expensive, time consuming and not always effective. Many times the contaminations is not detected until noxious substances actually appear in the used water, and by which the pollution has often dispersed over the larger area. All the kind of activities urban, industrial and the agriculture carried out on the land have the potential to contaminate the groundwater. Industrial discharge, landfills, subsurface injections and the chemical and the hazards waste are an obvious source of groundwater pollution, and these sources can be easily detected and regulated, but the more difficult problem is associated with the diffuse sources of pollution like leaching with the agrochemical and the animal waste, subsurface discharge from latrine, septic tank and the infiltrations of the polluted urban runoff and the sewage. Where sewage does not exist or the diffuse sources can affect the entire aquifer, which is difficult to control the threats. The only solution is to diffuse the source of pollution is to integrate land use of water management. Okay, so now the land use activity and the potential threat which is responsible for the low groundwater quality is, first one is, if you are talking about the residential activity, in that unsavory sanitizations, land and stream discharge of sewage, okay, sewage oxidation ponds, sewage leakage, solid waste disposal, landfill, road and urban road of aerial fallout. And if you are talking on the basis of the industrial and commercial activity, then the process, water and the effluent lagoon, land and stream discharge of effluent, tank and pipelines leakage and the accidental spills, well disposal of the effluent, aerial fallout, landfill disposable, and the solid waste, the hazard waste, poor housekeeping, spillage and leakage of during the handling of material. In mining, mine drainage discharge, processed water sludge lagoon, solid mine tackling, and oil field spillage of group gathering station. In rural areas, cultivations with agrochemical, irrigations with wastewater, soil salinizations, and livestock rearing. And in coastal areas, the salt water institution. So, if we are talking about the common groundwater containment, first one is nitrate. Nitrate dissolved commonly in the groundwater. High level of nitrate can be cause blue baby disease in children, maybe from the charge corner and the accelerate water surface. Source of nitrate includes sewage, fertilizer, air pollution, and the landfills and the industries. Next one is pathogen. Poor hygienic of well and inadequate segregations of drainage charcoal from the well may cause the pathogenic containment of good water seepage from the solid waste dump, and the municipal drain may also cause the containment. Bacteria and virus caused by the waterborne disease such as typhoid, polio, hepatitis may pass into the groundwater through this discharge of the sewage water. Landfill, septic tanks, and the livestock shelters. Next is the trace material. It include the lead, mercury, copper, nickel. These metals can be toxic, and seepage of industrial and mine discharge, fly ash ponds of the thermal power plant can lead to the metal in the groundwater. Now the organic compound. Seepage of agriculture run off loaded with the organic compound like pesticides may be cause the pesticide pollution of the groundwater. Risk of depletion of the groundwater. The demand of water has increased over the years, and this led to the water scarcity in the many parts of the world. About 2 billion of people, approximately one-third of the world population, depend on the groundwater supply, withdrawing about 20% of the global water annually, much of it from the shallow aquifer. The situation is aggravated by the problem of the water pollution or the containment. Groundwater problems are becoming increasing seriously in many areas of the world, and the rapid increase in the rate of pumping of the groundwater in many aquifers had caused a steady lowering of the water table, where the extraction of water has exceeded rating of the recharge. So, if we are talking about the cause of groundwater depletion, then first one is it has been caused by the human action. During the past 2 decades, the water level in several parts of India has been falling rapidly due to an increase in the extractions. The number of well drilled for irrigations for both food and cash crops have rapidly indiscriminately increased. India rapidly rising the population and changing lifestyle has also increased in the domestic need for the water. The water requirement for the industry also shows an overall increase in tense competition among the user, as agriculture, industry and the domestic sector is steadily lowering the groundwater table. The quality of groundwater is getting severely affected because of the widespread pollution of surface water. And beside the discharge of untreated water, though the bores and the leaches, the unscientific disposal of solid waste also contaminate the groundwater, and thereby reducing the quality of freshwater resources. Last one is, unlike surface storage, the groundwater is slow in the accumulation. Groundwater has two components. One is the static part and the other is the dynamic part, which compromise the annual addition due to the recharge. The quantum of yearly use needed to be limited. During the deficit year, however, a part of static component is drawn for the use of expecting during the next year surplus. Dependence on the static storage for the long amount of the time to minimize the groundwater. Ideally, the age of groundwater used you should be as young as the possible. Greater the age mean, the longer the period for which mining has been carried out. Okay. So if I am talking about the risk of the groundwater depletions. In groundwater depletions are pressing challenge for India. Groundwater played an important role in the sustaining India's green regulations. The high yielding varieties of crop, which all increasing the agriculture productivity depending on the timely application of the water. This led to the support of groundwater structures and enterprising farmer, making technology and the institutional innovations not only to extract the groundwater but also to transport in the field of other farmers, giving rise to the flourishing groundwater market. And for that, falling water table in the several states now treating agriculture sustainability. This has been encouraged by policies for cheap electricity and the absence of properly right structures for water withdrawal. During rainy season, availability of water for the precipitations is far in excess of natural and man-made holiday capacity which result in flood. During the non-rainy period, high evaporated rate coupled with a high water demand cause drought condition requiring import of water. Flood and drought during thus continue the extreme manifestations of hydrological cycle. The situation is due to the depleting forest cover in the country. So the supply of groundwater is not unlimited, nor it is always available in the good quality. In many cases, the abstraction of excessive qualities of groundwater has resulted in the drying up of wells, salt water, and drying up of the river that received their flow in the dry season from the groundwater. The water found in the groundwater bodies is replacing by the drainage through the soil, which is often a slow process. Rates of groundwater discharge are greatest when the rainfall inputs to the soil exceed evaporation loss. When the water table is deepen underground, the water of the aquifer may be exceedingly old. The water is being extensively for the water supply or the irrigation purpose, which might be thousands of years old. And the use of such water which is not being recharged under the current climate is the term groundwater mining. In India and Bangladesh, millions of people are exposed to the groundwater contaminated with a high level of the highly toxic and dangerous pollutant. It has been established to choose that 5 million people in the West Bengal India are affected. In the next door, Bangladesh, half of the entire population, 120 million, are exposed to the evaluated level of the polluted drinking water. So, for that purpose, we should have used the water properly and restore the water.